Get in there. Yep.
Hello, and welcome to Pot of the Dead. I am your host, Nicholas, and with me, as always, are the beautiful ladies, Natasha and Stephanie.
Hello.
Hi.
On today's episode, we are covering the 2015 horror holiday film Krampus by Michael Dougherty. Prior to this episode, what are your girls' experience or knowledge of this film?
I've seen it a couple of times. So this is, I think, my either second or third time watching it.
I have nothing, no relationship with this movie. As much as I had heard about it a lot, I just never saw it. So I didn't know. I love Christmas movies, but a horror Christmas movie, I haven't seen very many of those, so I wasn't sure if I was going to like this. It was different. It was a new experience.
Yeah, I remember when it came out and everything, and that was also during the time where my nose was so far up in the air that if it rained, I would drown. So I didn't watch it initially. I think the first time I watched it was just a couple years ago, and it was specifically because I saw who was cast in it, and that made it a lot more tantalizing for me. I didn't know that Michael Dougherty had anything to do with this or anything. I just saw it was like Krampus, and I was just like, whatever, it looks like shit to me. And then, I ended up checking it out because like Adam Scott's in it, David Koechner, I think's how you pronounce his name, Koechner. Both those guys I really like in a lot of stuff. They're like really funny actors. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. And
I guess I'll try.
Got my head firmly out of my ass and checked it out and had a good time. So
that's good.
What do you think the budget for this film was?
Oh, I'm gonna assume it's a lot higher. Because there's probably a ton of special effects in this movie. Well, there is a ton of special effects in this movie. So I'm going to go 11 million. What about you, Tasha?
I'm going to use you as a frame of reference and not do what I did last week and do something completely astronomically ridiculous. We'll say 13 million.
Girls are in the ballpark. It was 15 million.
Tasha wins.
I was gonna guess that.
And you guys were
Price is Right.
$1 fucking dollar. And you guys were talking about like the special effects and stuff for this movie, because there is quite a bit to it.
Yeah.
It actually has a pretty notable special effects company did them for the film. Weta Workshops. I believe that Weta is the company formed by Peter Jackson of the Lord of the Rings fame. They did all the special effects for the Lord of the Rings. They've done them for all sorts of shit. But that's who ended up doing the special effects for this movie. And you can tell with some of it. I wasn't really like the CG stuff and everything doesn't read that way to me, but so
okay. Yeah, I thought overall the special effects in this movie were done really, really well. Like they didn't feel cheap, I guess, in that sense. Like I felt like it fit pretty well with the way that it was created.
Right.
Yeah, because there's a lot of CG'd stuff. Like this whole film was done on a soundstage, except for the opening scene, which was shot in a store in New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Why'd they go all the way to New Zealand?
Peter Jackson.
Yeah, that's where Weta is from.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they shot the whole film on a soundstage out in New Zealand or not, but the whole film is done there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because all of Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand too, so that would make sense.
Yep. So canonically, maybe this is part of Lord of the Rings. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah.
Technically, canonically, this film is actually, if you wanted to build a universe, this film is actually in the same universe as Trick or Treat. Because when we get into, spoilery areas and stuff like that, there is some stuff that it references the town from Trick or Treat in it.
Oh,
but also it
because of this kind of stuff, it dropped, like, there's like some name dropping of like counties and stuff, that this is actually set outside of Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either. Okay.
Yep. So this is another. I don't know what it fucking is about horror films, but they love being based in Ohio. It's so weird. Like
They do.
I think Scream is based in Ohio.
No.
What?
We looked that up.
Did we?
It's based in California. Yeah.
You're based in California.
We messed what we messed that up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's actually based
Friday
in
the 13th is.
Okay. Yeah, I think Ohio is just kind of like when the girls will watch movies and stuff and like another movie based in Ohio. I'm like, it's either based in like New York, usually California, Chicago or something, or some weird ass place in Ohio for whatever reason. It's just like the easy pick, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it's because Ohio is so nondescript.
Yeah.
Like it could be anywhere in the Midwest.
it's
Kind of, yeah.
It's
Yep.
it's the one civilized area in the Midwest.
Yeah. Sure.
Outside of Ohio, it's all just savagery.
Yeah.
But
Ridiculous.
so Tasha, you want to tell us what this movie's about?
Yes, I do. Krampus is a 2015 Christmas horror comedy film based on the character from Austro-Bavarian folklore, Krampus, directed by Michael Daughtry, who co-wrote with Todd Casey and Zach Shields. In the film, a dysfunctional family squabbling causes a young boy to lose his festive spirit. Doing so unleashes the wrath of Krampus, a fearsome, horned, demonic beast in ancient European folklore who punishes naughty children at Christmas time. As Krampus lays siege to the neighborhood, the family must band together to save one another from a monstrous fate.
Okay.
Yep, that's a
Covers it pretty well.
That's it.
I mean,
Yeah.
the trailers and stuff for this film, like it's not hiding anything. Like you kind of know what you're getting into. It's almost like Jaws in a sense. It's like you know that you're going to get a big fucking shark. In this one, it's like you know you're going to get a Christmas spirit kind of fucking messing things up.
Yeah, but there are certain things you don't know you're getting, and I was shocked when I saw some of them. Yeah, this was a weird experience for me because I usually watch like, well, our horror movies definitely are different than this in some ways. And then knowing that the people who made Trick or Treat made this movie, and I was like, I know technically, and we talked about this, Trick or Treat is a horror comedy. It doesn't hit as comedy to me.
Oh, it does to me.
I know, but I don't laugh in that movie. Like it doesn't hit for me that way. And so when I watched this, I was like, am I going to get the same feeling? I did not. I laughed so hard throughout this entire movie.
Good.
Oh my gosh. It definitely hit more as a horror comedy for me. But like the main actors in this, the two main males, they are stars in the comedy area. So like that in itself. And then so is well, not the grandma, the aunt. Oh my God, she's hilarious in everything she's into. So it fit really well with that. So but yeah.
Yeah, the goal of the film was to tell a modern day morality tale using the Krampus tradition. And it was in part as a response to today's like defanging and retelling of classic tales and the likes of Disney and stuff. So they were just basically like, no, we're not going to soften this up. Like they originally were like pushing it to like basically get an R rating. But they,
if it was more graphic, it could have been.
Easily. But there is one scene where some kids are partaking in a little bit of alcohol, and that about got them an R rating.
Wow.
Okay.
Just that little bit.
And not to give away anything, but the things that happen in this film to some kids is okay, but them drinking alcohol is not.
Yeah.
There's a line.
Yeah. Okay, so we didn't talk about how much money did this movie make?
So with its $15 million budget, what do you think it made?
This movie was in the theater, right?
Correct.
Okay, so
Yep.
this didn't go direct to film, didn't go direct to DVD streaming. Okay, I'm gonna go with.
Did this come out during Christmas time?
It came out,
over the
I believe
Christmas
it was
holiday?
December 5th. It came out like the weekend before.
Oh, okay, so perfect
right
timing.
before Krampus knocked, which is
Okay.
the holiday like that they do in Austria.
Other than like, you know, Gremlins, who came out in the middle of the freaking year. So, okay.
Right.
I'm going to say this movie probably did really well. I'm going to guess 40 million.
Okay, what do you got, Tasha?
I'm gonna guess. I was leaning towards like 57
57.
million.
Okay.
All right, 40 and 57. $61.5 million.
Oh, dang.
I won again.
So yeah,
So 4 times its budget.
yeah,
That's
yeah, it
good.
did really well. There's been talks and stuff about doing a Krampus sequel and stuff like that, but realistically, like Doherty is like, or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's working on, I think it's coming out next year. There's a Trick or Treat 2 coming out, and so that's where all of his attention lies right now. And I was reading about that they are pushing for a hard R on that one. So
Good.
but yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think this movie though could be a sequel, not with the same characters, obviously,
Yeah.
but like different ones. I think this could be one of those movie series that you could watch and get different storylines from and have different relationships with different families.
Right.
That would work fine. It's no different than people making Santa Claus movies and everybody having different relationships with Santa Claus. Obviously, this is in the dark realm, but I think it would work fine.
This is very jovial, very just
Yeah, it's so sweet.
I mean,
Yeah, not.
it's just a family sitting around the fire, eating gingerbread people, and just a delightful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and just cute.
Grandma's making cookies in the kitchen.
Yeah, cute Jack in the Boxes.
Oh,
you know,
God,
they're
yes.
just so sweet.
Yes.
They're so
All
nice.
sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. Snowmen.
It's just everything. Just,
Cute snowmen with just a perfect like little noses.
I know,
Yeah.
little
It's a little snow outside.
jingly bells, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun for
That's
just-
fun's for the whole family, you know.
Yeah.
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 So before we really get into it and all that, this is a movie club. This is our last standard episode for the year. The next episode that we will be doing is actually going to be homework free for the most part. But it will be our first Pod of the Dead Gaiden film or Gaiden episode. So Gaiden is Japanese for side story. So what we're going to do with that kind of format is when things are like kind of busy and everything, instead of forcing in a film and all that stuff, we are going to just kind of have open discussions sometimes on styles of movies and everything. But this one, for our first one, is going to be our year-end review on what the ladies and I have ingested media-wise, what our picks were, what maybe some of our favorite episodes that we've done this year, just like our favorite movies that we've seen in that, things that aren't even horror related necessarily, like certain films that maybe we saw. So it's going to be kind of like a suggestion box, in the sense of not suggestions coming into us, but suggestions coming out of us, things that we have taken in and kind of want to champion and send out to you guys for the holiday season. So after that episode, though, we will be giving out some homework for January. And then we will be starting up that. We've got some interesting things in the pipeline coming out for 2024. My God, I can't believe it's going to be 2024.
I know.
But one thing that I am excited for is for February, which is a ways away. But for February, we are doing Foreign Film February. Scream and be excited, ladies.
No.
Yay.
No.
Oh, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised with what you like.
I might be surprised with what I like, but okay. Well, we're gonna just rock and roll it and see how it goes.
That's right. You can't.
Don't expect me to stay
don't
awake.
expect-
Yes.
Did you stay awake for Krampus?
What do you
No.
No. Well, she's also
It's a
seen
movie
it.
I've seen
Yeah.
before, yeah.
Yeah.
How many times did it take you to get through it?
Twice.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Just twice.
Yeah.
And I didn't fall asleep for the whole, I didn't fall asleep and stay asleep last night. I woke back up, so
Okay.
I finished it.
So, spoiler warning's up.
Could be worse.
Spoiler warning is up. So after this point, we're going to be giving reviews of the film that we found online, and then we're going to start just doing an open discussion. If you stick around to the end, we will just kind of be talking about what maybe we will be looking at talking about next week a little bit. But there will be no homework after this episode. Come back next week for our Gaiden episode. At the end of that, there will be. So without further ado, let's hear those sweet reviews.
All right. Go for it, Tasha.
So if you want to be a part of our club, you can find us at facebook.com/podofthedead or else on Instagram at pod_of_the_dead or on TikTok at podofthedead. If you want to email us any questions, any complaints, or movie recommendations, you can email us at podofthedead666@gmail.com. I have the 10 out of 10. And it says, in an age which Hollywood feeds us annual cheesy family meddling comedies or goofball celebrity performance to get a laugh out of, this went in the other direction to scare you while also using the reality of what many experience during the holidays. In parentheses, I know my cousins were a little like that. Not so much rude, just difficult to be around. To make you appreciate it all more. It goes against the grain, but is so well done, it instantly becomes a holiday classic. It stars a good-hearted boy living a tough life as his parents are on the outs and his cousins, who are about his age, crude and pick on him, so life is a bit rough. The one person he has is his grandmother. When he wishes it all away to get back to the life he had full of joy and happiness, Krampus comes with a band of Christmas-themed demons to torment them all. In an age of sap, this tosses in some Halloween and some laughs while entertaining you in the process. Very well done.
Yeah, that covers it pretty well, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. I like a little Halloween in my Christmas.
Well, I think that it hits on that really well when it's talking about being relatable with the family aspect. Like, when you are adding more extended family, not necessarily just your core family, like especially from my past with my aunts and then all my cousins and like everybody all included into one big thing. Everybody's complaining about something. Not everybody's getting along. You're kind of dreading that whole spending time together, but you're doing it just because you're supposed to. I don't do that anymore because I'm too old now, in the sense of I'm not putting up with that shit. But
you are so old. You are so much older than everyone here.
I know. For those who don't know, Nick's birthday's on Christmas, so this goes right around the perfect time for that.
praise be to me.
Everyone wish Nick a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm the reason for the season, baby.
Yeah. And then we'll be the same age again. So
No.
But yeah, that's what I like when they were talking about when we started the movie started in general, I was like, okay, so we're going into like a crazy Black Friday type thing. And you guys or somebody had mentioned to me, like, that's how the movie starts. I can't even remember who said something. And then when we got into the whole family coming together, I was like, holy shit, this feels so like relatable in that sense. And so, but it was also comedic in its way. So I like that review. That was cute.
Yeah, that feeling when the aunt shows up and that fuck like kind of feeling, that goes through me so hard.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that, at least as a kid. I'm trying to think of Christmas Eve plans.
I'm thinking of it as an adult. Like getting together and stuff, and it's just like, oh, this is all happening, and then like out of nowhere it's like, like somebody's significant other, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
I got you.
Just like, fucking seriously.
Yeah, but that person's not that bad. So this aunt is like, the aunt in this movie reminds me of one of my aunts, and I adore her, but she is fucking crazy, and she drinks all the time, and she's so loud and obnoxious, and it hit really like on the nose with that in this, so I thought that was hilarious. Okay, my review here is very short, honey. You gave me like the tiniest of tiny 1 stars.
I tried to find stuff. Like I said, a lot of these, like I can give you another one that's like fucking 20 paragraphs.
It's fine. It gives us time to talk about the movie, but like it's only two longer paragraphs.
Yeah,
it's 2
a lot of the ones that were like in the ballpark of like what I usually send you and stuff were just bitching about other people, like with their like, I can't believe that this movie's rated this way and blah blah blah. And it's like, you guys got
another one of those.
You guys gotta fucking chill the fuck out. Let people rate things the way they do. Goddamn.
Right.
This guy's pretty harsh. So I have not read this review until now. So let's do this thing. Okay. So I have a 1 out of 10. He's pulling no punches. piece of trash. Okay. Really, Michael Dougherty, you take a great ancient folklore and make this piece of trash? You should be ashamed of yourselves for making such a terrible movie. You made a mockery of this great story, and I hope Krampus comes after you for making this sad excuse of a movie. The real Krampus, not the turd of a character you created.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Okay.
Turd of a character. What the fuck is he talking about? Turd of a character.
I don't know. I mean, you don't get a lot of Krampus in this movie overall. You get most of his like minions, I would call them, but you do get pieces of him, but not it. He's very small amount of him in this. So I wish I could. This is so fucked up. I wish I could eternal sunshine of the spotless mind myself to forget this terrible movie and then Back to the Future myself to the past and stop this pathetic movie from being made. I hope that I hope that someone comes along and treats the story of Krampus with respect.
Well, considering what this movie, like, whether you believe in IMDb's ratings or not, it also shows like, if you like this film, here's some other films. And there's a shit ton of Krampus films that have come out like after this one and everything. And there's a lot of them that are like 1 out of 10s, 2 out of 10s, like just absolute gutter garbage.
Well, can we take into consideration that the amount of extra special effects in general, and then on top of that, like costume design, and then like all of your extra like add-ins that technology has to do that you can't get on the screen, obviously, that they would have to do for budget, and the amount of people being able to get a budget for a Krampus movie to this caliber is just not going to happen every day. Well, like it would take a long time.
Well, we're also talking about like 2015, so this would have been shot like in 2014 more than likely. So Krampus wasn't what Krampus is now. Krampus has become like a pop culture thing where it's just like like the like different festivals and places like that and everything have like, you can get pictures of Krampus now, but we're talking about like 8 years ago, and I would be very, very shocked if like when this film came out prior to it, if you asked just your standard run-of-the-mill person, like, do you know what Krampus is? I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? So this,
like, we didn't grow up with that story in the folklore and stuff. So like, that is not a thing. I think this movie is what popularized probably the whole Krampus thing. Just like Sam is the guy now for Halloween because of Trick or Treat. Like, he didn't exist before this. Like Samhain did, or whatever the spirit of him. But like the embodiment of our little orange sacked guy, like he didn't. And now he's like an icon. It's kind of the same thing to me, in my opinion. Like, obviously this is just my opinion, but people who are bringing out quality movies that are going blockbuster or whatever in the sense of like higher quality are what is bringing light to this. So,
but I do agree with that review a little bit, because I get it. It's like, for the movie, you have to kind of go outside of the box, but it's so far away in a lot of cases to like the Krampus, like folklore. So that part was like kind of a bummer for me. I won't give it a 1 out of 10, but like there's just some stuff like rule wise that just doesn't make sense through the movie.
Well, we've got our reviews out, so we can go into open discussion. And so we don't forget about it. What are some things that bothered you? Like, because I'm usually like really like shitty about stuff like that, where I'm just like, rules are broke. Fuck this. No. But like, this movie's so comedic leaning and stuff that I'm able to overlook that. But what are some things about it that kind of got in your crawl about it?
So like, just the basic folklore is like Krampus goes after the bad kids, or, you know, like he's the opposite of Santa. So if that's the case, why is the entire neighborhood being affected? Why are other people, you know, getting the wrath of Krampus within this neighborhood? Are we supposed to think that like everyone around is like bratty and bad? I think personally, I would have liked it if it was just like hanging over that house and it was just that family. So it's those types of things where like he's going from house to house, or he's, you know, like taking care of like attacking the male guy, things like that, things that just don't quite add up.
I agree with that.
I get it for the movie, but Like, I feel like there were ways that you could make it more, graphic or scary, whatever, even within the confines of that house.
Originally, the script for this movie was Krampus going like house to house, just fucking up kids and stuff like that. And the production company, or not the producers, the studio and stuff, were just like, when they saw it, like the script and everything, they're like, can we like bring it in and make it more focused into one family instead of just following Krampus fucking. So that's where it changed. Was the original script was more of like, not necessarily a slasher, but just like, we're following Krampus fucking up kids, and they're just like, because there was a lot of controversy around like Christmas horror movies, because prior to this there was like Silent Night, Deadly Night that came out in like 1984, and Black Christmas, which is like one of the original slashers that came out in 1974. So they were just like, well, we don't want to go down that route. Like, if we're going to do this film, we need to figure it out in a different way. And that's where I think like they amped up the comedy, they focused it more on one family and all that kind of stuff, but then still made it this like apocalyptic kind of thing.
Yeah, but I also, in my opinion, other than, and this is where they failed in it, but I think for me personally, when I saw like in the movie, obviously we open up and then the kid literally rips up this letter that it was really sweet, like super nice and kind. And then he was just like, screw this. These people are mean. And then like, that's how I took it. And then he just threw it out the window. One, I didn't understand why this kid's getting punished for this, because it's like, because his family's shitty and he just doesn't want to ask Santa for this stuff anymore. So that makes him bad. Like, inherently, he's actually a good kid, especially in this movie. That didn't. Go ahead.
He lost the holiday spirit. That's what. Yeah. That's why. That's the whole crux of it.
Okay. Well, that just feels weird. But when you're in the movie and it brings all like the storm in and it starts taking over their neighborhood and their town, I almost felt like, and this is where it would work for me, and it would work where, because it doesn't really show that it's hurting other people, like, right? Correct. It's kind of showing, but it's like not really.
The mailman's
other than, yeah. So what I'm getting from it is that they're almost living in a different dimension, and like that Krampus came in and dropped this in, like, it almost like did like that still life thing where it's like, you are now in a snow globe, in the sense like this is your life. And then the mailman might have just happened to be out on the street or whatever when he came in. And then everybody else that was in the houses or anything like that were just whisked away. So it doesn't show or prove that anybody else was actually harmed in this other than the mailman.
Because like everybody that gets murked in this film comes back Christmas morning and stuff, but at the same time, like everything that's out and about, like, we don't know what that doesn't show you.
It's almost like shows their house is fucked up. Correct.
But the only thing though that does, and maybe it was because the daughter had an encounter with it, but you do have that scene where they're going through that house and there's a gingerbread man with a knife shoved through him into the refrigerator. So there had been some sort of altercation previous, and you see the chimney being burst out in another house. So it definitely does kind of allude to the fact that Krampus has been out here fucking up people.
But it could be, because it didn't show us her death, it could have been the daughter that got to the boy's house, got out from underneath that truck that we assumed, because it doesn't show her die. She gets into his house and then he finds her in the house and then he jumps down the chimney there. Like, you don't know that that's not the case, because you still hear her like voice in the distance and all of this stuff. Obviously that was all like a ploy or whatever in the movie, because they do that a couple times. But I felt like this movie, because it didn't actually show anybody else like in the street screaming, asking for help during the holidays, that we're living in a separate dimension that the mailman just happens to be a part
of. Pocket dimension.
That's how it feels to me. Yeah, that's how it feels like to me.
Pocket dimension. I love it.
But I can't remember, like, do they actually show him dead?
Who?
The mailman?
He's frozen to death in the mail truck.
No, his truck was frozen. Did it show him?
I thought it was. wasn't it?
No, I don't.
I thought at one point it showed him, but I do know that the truck is
But yeah,
empty.
he's-
The truck's empty, and it shows like it was imploded in like inward with the glass, not not outward.
I thought that-
like it was showing like it was like broken, but it didn't show him.
I thought that was the plow that the glass was blown in.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, maybe it was
frozen to death in the mail truck.
Oh, he is frozen to death in the mail truck.
And then
yeah.
when they get to the
That's
they
true.
get to the plow, the glass is busted in because they're like, "Oh man, that should have
Gotcha.
been must have
That's
been a
true.
bad wreck. He got blown right out the window." And he's like,
Yeah.
"The glass is going inward."
Yeah, that's true. Yes, but like I said, I think that maybe the mailman was just a side thing, or honestly, it was probably like whoever's delivering the service was like, "Hey, we really need to like you use us in your movie, and we'll pay you money to market us
Yeah, 'cause it's like
we're gonna
Right.
we're gonna
DHL
deliver."
or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. We were like, we're gonna deliver.
Specifically stated.
Exactly. We're going to deliver even when Krampus is coming after you. Like, that's the
Right.
whole part of it. So maybe that works. I don't know. But that's how it felt to me.
No matter snow, rain, like the whole like
Yeah.
postman's.
Yeah.
Krampus.
No matter.
Yeah.
German folklore.
Krampus
Yeah.
stole your child. Well, I need your signature for this package, please.
Yeah. Well, it works because like we remember it, right?
Yeah.
So like it's successful
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah.
So that's funny. Okay, go on.
Don't tell me to go on. You go on. Something that's funny though is like, so the beginning of the movie, there's like this whole like Black Friday ordeal, but it's also like during like almost like a nativity play, like Gone Awry and all this
Right.
stuff. And Max, the young boy, is acting a fool. It seems he's pissing off his parents because he got into a fight with someone during the play and everything. And like when they get home, there's like a reference to the noodle incident. It's like, they don't get on with the neighbors anymore because of the noodle incident. And I assumed it meant something possibly like with stuff that's in your pants or something like that. But like they don't really say and everything. But what it is a reference to, though, is the noodle incident was often referred to but never explained in the Calvin and Hobbes cartoon scripts.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of leave it unexplained, like Calvin always got in trouble or something. He mentions is like, well, if it weren't for that noodle incident, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So that's actually what it's a reference
cool.
to. So I thought that was really sweet.
Okay.
I always loved
That's
Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, that's cute.
But go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go for it.
Nope, you go.
No.
I'm
my
looking
gosh.
at my notes. Fucking say something.
I've been doing a lot of talking, guys. So anyway, who was your okay? So how did we feel about? Okay, so Tasha said that it was like different off of like where did you think it hit the best in terms of the movie? Like what scene or what like hitting with like the characters or all of that? Tasha.
What part hit the best? That I don't know. My favorite scene is the attic.
Oh, your favorite scene is the attic.
Yeah. I think that's where like the most happens towards the end, like that definitely third act. I don't necessarily know what hit the best. I really like the dinner scene too, before Krampus arrives. I just felt like, I think that gave me the most feels because I felt so sad for Max and how sweet he was trying to be.
Oh.
And all
Maybe this
that.
will tone down your love for Max. So
no.
Michael Dougherty was being interviewed and was talking about, like what it was like on set and everything. And every time a woman came on set, the kid that played Max was like talking him up, like flirting with him and stuff. Like he's like Michael Dougherty referred to him as a little
man.
player.
Oh my god!
Wow.
He's tiny too. That's weird.
Like he knows he's cute.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You heard about that noodle incident?
Yeah. Or like another one I found, like one of the like characters, it's kind of a character, but not like a big one, is the baby in this. Like the baby, like I don't know, like they leave the baby in the car and they're like, go get the baby. And then the baby's like screaming on the floor. And then it gets taken at some
Thank
point by
God.
one of the elves.
Yeah.
And like and then like the terror on its face, like a few of the times I was like, I don't necessarily like movies when they have babies like as the main focus, especially in movies like this. But I thought that it was really cute. And the dog in this, also amazing. He was he's an English bulldog.
Yeah.
So fun.
Oh,
Big old
He's so fun.
old wrinkly fluffer.
some of the faces he makes.
Yeah.
But
Well, and then go ahead, honey.
oh, you're fine.
Go.
What about you?
Oh, me?
Oh, well,
for
yes,
the
you.
scene. My favorite scene is not necessarily a scene. It's anytime they're outside traveling the streets, like the isolation of it and how like opposingly dark it is. Like I just really like it. Again, I'm fucking like on the bullhorn nonstop. It gave me like Silent Hill vibes, where it's just this desolate, they're coming into houses and it's just completely empty, and they're just walking the streets, and then off in the distance you just see a snowplow light going, and it's like, oh, there's a new landmark for us to get to, because they can't fucking see anything. Every single time that happens, whether it's the daughter trying to get to her boyfriend's house or the two men going to find her like with the gun, like every single time that shit happens, that's my favorite part of the movie, without a doubt. All the family stuff in the house is always like comedic, or like you have the attic scene that has like, it goes way over the top, like what you're expecting, because it's like, oh, like you got like the teddy bear, and you've got like the tree angel thing that's attacking them, and then you have a fucking Jack-in-the-Box that is a straight up Lovecraftian like slug monster thing.
It's amazing. It is. It's amazing. The one I didn't like the most was actually the angel with like the doll head. I felt like that lacked a little bit, and then like the robot guy that was like stabbing him was kind of but I felt like that was fine with like the time, probably. Like it kind of harkened back to like vintage toys, like they all did, and so that worked for that. But yeah, that massive, like literally swallowing people whole.
Yeah, that was a
Jack-in-the-Box.
watching a Jack-in-the-Box like monster slug eat a child, like literally you see the feet go in
swallow
like a teenage child.
That's okay, but a kid having a little peppermint schnapps in his nope, rated R, and it just goes,
it's so weird.
It just goes back to like the weird thing. Like I'm this way too when it comes to movies and stuff. In our society and stuff, violence is so much more acceptable for people to see than like sex or in this case like the abating of a delinquent. Like, oh no, you're giving them alcohol, rated R. Someone getting straight up stabbed to death by a robot, that's okay. Like that's not a big deal.
But I think it has something to do with like the fact that one is fantasy and one is suggestibility.
I'm sorry, but like seeing violence is seeing violence. So like,
but I mean, like, no, I can speak as a parent. I wouldn't mind seeing something as astronomical as that, because it's never going, like, it's not a real thing. It's so fantasy.
That's what I'm talking about.
But seeing like a person get stabbed by another person, that's
I'm
reality.
not talking about that to that. I'm talking about our society being okay with that, opposed to seeing a naked person or whatever. Like our society, our culture is like, it's more acceptable for a 13-year-old or whatever to see somebody get eaten by a fucking slug monster or stabbed or whatever, opposed to just seeing a natural human body. Like not even sexual, just being naked. And like,
are you taking that from like how movies are rated based on like what the content is?
Just even
because
beyond
I feel
that.
like it'd be hard to find a lot of like horror movies that don't have nudity.
No, it's one of those.
What part is carrying over that, and then looking at other types of movies that don't have like the gore? Would they still be rated that?
One of those things that,
if
like,
there was like a nip shot or something?
That sexual stuff, like if you see that, that's straight up R. Like it doesn't matter. Like the movie could be like way more chill and stuff, and you can get away with a lot more violence than you can nudity, flat out. So like a lot of films will just straight up not have nudity. And I'm not saying that like I need to see dicks and all that stuff and whatever, like I don't need rocking tits and swinging dicks in every movie. That's not what I'm talking about. I just find it interesting, especially in this one, when they're literally talking about the fact that a child takes a drink of a hot chocolate that had alcohol in it that about got them an R rating. But the fact that people are getting killed and all this kind of stuff, that's more acceptable. And it's always, that stuff's always really,
or they're getting abducted, or they're getting their leg bitten into. I get what you're saying.
And I'm not saying
it's our culture, though. You have to understand that, like, Americanized culture is very much like this. If you go to Europe, it's not like that there. So like we are,
It's
in our movies and our ratings and everything that is consumed here is all based around whatever. I'm not going to go down the road.
No, it is.
But
it's our background in like the Puritan era and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That, like sexuality
it's a bunch
and all
of
that is just demonized.
Sex is bad.
yeah, I mean, realistically, it's a bunch of old white men that came over to America and said, "This is the way we're running things."
Whoa! Have you ever seen some of those pictures of the people that were against alcohol and stuff? That was a bunch of grizzly ass looking white bitches. So it's not just white men.
We're talking way before that, though. I mean, this has started way before that.
Men have never done anything bad ever. Okay?
Says the one man on this podcast.
Men's rights, damn it. Men's rights.
Oh my God. Oh man. Oh man.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we need to move on from that one.
No.
So back to your statement about your favorite parts being the outside scenes. I could honestly live without those in the movie.
I actually
think
agree.
They could have been taken out. I was bored with them.
Me too.
I think
Kind of
that's the
filler.
only parts in the film, personally, that are like legit horror, because it's still that like
I don't
really, because I don't like even the attic scene and stuff is just played up so comedically to me.
You don't think that like the elves breaking into the house and stealing people, it was horrific in any way?
Not really.
That wasn't funny in my opinion. I thought that was a little more serious of a moment.
I mean, I was just super glad that they took that fucking baby away.
The baby was cute.
I was so sick of hearing.
I couldn't take any of them seriously because of their masks or just the fact that it's like a possessed gingerbread man. Like,
those are my favorite characters in the whole movie. I'm watching this and I'm like, give me all the crazy ass gingerbread man. They are amazing. And so like when he comes down with the hook the one time and one of the people like take him off and they bite into him and he opens his eyes and I'm like, yes, we're getting real gingerbread men. And like, so then in the kitchen, and like the guy who's already got his leg fucked up, the uncle is what I'm going to call him. He goes in and then these gingerbread men are fucking shooting a nail gun at him. This was amazing. Like, this is so good. And I was just laughing and I was rooting for them basically the whole time just because I love them. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get you. And I'm like, you do this, little gingerbread dudes. And then when the dog comes in and the dog's like, he's like wanting the dog to help him at some point, but finally the dog comes to the rescue and eats these fucking gingerbread men. It was so cute. And yeah, I really liked the attic scene. That was way different than I expected. And then when you looked inside of Krampus's bag at some point in the movie, it showed you his whole bag full of like demonic toys. And I thought that was a really unique thing because I did not know that. Like, I don't know if that's part of the folklore or if that was just specific for this movie, like where it was demonic toys. Because from what I understand, it's like Krampus is the Punisher, not necessarily him having minions do so.
Those different minion things come from actually different like Germanic and Austrian folklore. Like, they're different little like, oh, the gingerbread men that do this. That's like a folklore tale and like all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that's where they just kind of consolidated it in. But yeah, like basically, Krampus will just go around and beat children with a stick,
with a switch
and chains, and throw their asses in bags and take them.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, that definitely is different. Well, and then I know this is Krampus related. This is just not movie related. So I started reading a book that just came out recently. I did not finish it because it's just too much. Where it's Krampus, but it's spicy.
Oh, God.
And it's like, it's a Krampus and it's like a Krampus world. And they go and they visit it. Half of it's like Krampus, half of it's like Santa. And Krampus lives there. People have to keep believing in him, just like you have to believe in Santa in order to keep like the spirit of him alive. So like they have to have this world for him, because if not, then he like dies off. It's something, anyway. Him and Santa have this deal going on, and Santa made him and like made him the bad guy so then Santa could be the good guy. And that's the storyline of this. But it's like full on BDSM, hardcore, sexy stuff with a woman and with this giant demon monster. And I was like, I cannot finish the book because it's just too much of that. But they're really taking this Krampus thing and they're running with it. And he uses his switch a lot in that book. And so that's how I learned about it, because it's not in this movie. So
how did you learn about Krampus? Well, he was Krampus in this lady. So
Yeah, with his long tongue and with his switch. So yes, and it was.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does, and I was like, I'm learning all kinds of wonderful things about this that I did not know. And then we went and watched this movie, and I was like, "Where's the switch?" So we just didn't really get that.
Who said you can't learn things from pornography?
It's not pornography; it's erotic fiction. Thank you very much.
I know pornography when I see it.
You have to see it.
Yeah. But yeah, oh my god. But talking about the gingerbread men, two of them are voiced by Seth Green and Justin Roiland. Justin Roiland's the guy that originally did the voices for Rick and Morty. He's one of the show creators for that. Some shit came out recently and he's kind of blacklisted now, I guess. But I thought that was kind of neat. And actually, when you're in Max's room, you see posters for Rick and Morty and Robot Chicken. And Robot Chicken is the show that Seth Green created for Adult Swim and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Did you guys think this is what I thought in the movie when the elves come bursting into the house? Did that remind you of the kids that were on the bus in the Trick or Treat movie?
Yeah, it had a similar feel.
Oh, no, I didn't pick up on that.
It just felt like the way that they kind of moved and like their sounds a little bit and like the way it was filmed reminded me a lot of that. Like not exactly the same. Obviously one's Halloween and then this one's like kind of Halloween-esque, but not. That was the first thing I thought like flash in my head when I was watching that scene. So
yeah, there's a little bit to it that definitely has like that kind of feel. You can totally see like the lines drawn between Trick or Treat and this.
Okay.
But talking about it being, connected and whatnot, there's a scene where the fathers hear that there's a blizzard warning for central Ohio area that covers Franklin County, Delaware County, Ramona Falls, and Warren Valley, while Franklin and
missed that.
I did too.
While Franklin and Delaware counties are real and they are places near the Columbus metro area, Ramona Falls is actually in Oregon, not Ohio. But Warren Valley is the fictitious town in Trick or Treat.
Oh,
it takes place in Warren, Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they kind of, here it is. It's all kind of packaged together. So maybe we'll get a Krampus v. Sam movie one day. It'll be them fighting during Thanksgiving. So.
Yeah, well, I hope Sam wins.
Well,
because he's my favorite.
Realistically, like I really, really, really like the way they made Krampus look in this, and I'd always like. I think this is the first time I've only seen this film maybe once or twice prior to this time seeing it, and I always thought like he had just kind of a weird gaping maw. Like and everything until like this last time I was like he's wearing a mask and I was like reading up he's actually wearing like a skin mask of somebody. He's kind of got like a leather face thing going on and you can see his eyes and mouth underneath it. And Doherty was like saying like that was like very purposeful. They didn't want to show you the monster. They just wanted to show you the form of the monster and everything. And his like the goat legs, the huge horns, I love that. His silhouette and stuff is so cool. I'm not a huge fan of him jumping roof to roof. Like that part I thought was a little corny feeling like when I don't know, it just doesn't work with like I like him being this lumbering slow presence. I don't like him like running. I don't want to see Spider-Man. I want to see this.
He's not like this stealthy, like agile. I guess stealth is the wrong word. He's not like this agile being. Yeah, he's this like big, bumpy, lumbering, menacing thing that just falls down the chimney or comes through the door. So I picture him being like, he needs to move more slowly.
I like the idea of like you like standing there and he just rises behind you kind of feel instead of like, I'm going to get you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Jump like Mario.
Well, he almost has like that hunchback feel too. Like everything's so heavy, like his horns and everything. So like he's bearing all this weight. So I really liked that. I liked his silhouette when you first get introduced to him and then you see it a few more times on the rooftops. I loved that in itself. I get what you're saying. Like you want him to be the lumbering guy, not the jumping from roof to roof guy. But
him standing
I like that.
Is super rad. Just the silhouette. You see his horns.
Yeah, it's a really cool shot.
Yeah. What did you think of the grandma's backstory? Like when she was telling everybody, I loved that they used like different languages in this movie, but then she did speak English for a short period of time, but I really liked that. But what did you think of her overall backstory?
I didn't necessarily care for her backstory, but her as a person, I really like Grandma. But the fact that like I think it was too
clean
sim of like, oh, I know this story because my family, and now it's affecting my grandkids.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that. I wish that just didn't exist. I like that she, like, you can tell that she's German, so she knows the folklore. I think it would have been cooler if everyone was experiencing it for the first time, but she knew of this being.
Yeah.
The one thing that I don't want to say rubbed me wrong, but I still just don't really fully understand is that people will speak to her in English and she only responds back in like German or Austrian or whatever. That doesn't really register with me. Like, why? So you can understand English, but you won't speak it back. Like, there is a point where her son, Adam Scott's character, speaks to her in German and she's speaking back. So like that, like there's this weird disconnect with it because like sometimes we're getting subtitles from her speaking in German and the family understands it and all that, and that's cool. Then they just drop the subtitles, and then Max becomes like her translator and stuff. But like I don't understand the point in making her speak German or whatever, but she can fully understand English. Like that's so weird to me.
I don't agree with you.
I agree.
I don't.
Why don't you agree?
I don't, because there are people who are multicultural and bilingual and stuff, and their first language is something else. And so it is harder for them to articulate in a different language other than their mother language. And if they have other people around them who can then understand them, then they just use those people. Like I remember growing up, I had a friend named Amanda, and her grandmother was from Mexico, and she would come and stay. She could understand English perfectly. She could not speak English very fluently. Like she could speak it, but it was harder for her to have to then formulate her sentences and stuff to explain it. So a lot of times when she would say certain things, like if she, because it almost becomes exhausting because you're constantly thinking about the words that you have to say in order to be multilingual or bilingual or whatever. And so she would sometimes occasionally say short phrases in English, and she would understand almost all of it. But then when she would speak in longer phrases, she would do it in Spanish. And then people, if there were people that were not Spanish speaking or understanding in her area, then people would then act as her translator. So I feel like that's actually very accurate for people who are not necessarily like completely fully immersed in like their ability to understand and speak multiple languages.
Right on. Yeah, I'd say I didn't look at it like that. I was just looking at it strictly as a movie. So
yeah, as a movie, I get where it's frustrating, but I think that kind of like the whole family dynamic is just messed up. I think that this is another one of those things that it's like, this really does happen in multicultural lives. And like, you got the aunt over here who's batshit crazy. And like, is that necessarily the most accurate? No, but I have an aunt that crazy. So like, it works. So
I take offense to the fact that you call her crazy because that's the character in the movie that I related to the most. So
well, maybe that says more about you than it does me.
It does. It's fine. Like, I'm just.
She kind of reminds me of Aunt
100%. Just like, God damn it. Fucking, where's that bottle of wine at?
Yeah.
She's so fun. Like when I saw her coming up on the screen and I was like, yes, I didn't know we were getting her. And she's so funny in everything she's ever been in. I love her so much. She's such a good actress.
She's got that firecracker attitude and stuff.
She does. Mm-hmm. So who is your least favorite character in this movie overall? And you can add in like the smaller parts.
Every child.
Yeah, I think
every child.
I don't give a shit about any of these fucking kids.
Even Max?
I don't fucking care about Max. Fuck that kid.
Okay. All right. And then okay, so then who was your favorite then?
My favorite?
If you did not like the kids. Yeah.
My favorite was the uncle. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. Yeah, Howard, played by David Cockner. He's definitely my favorite. Adam Scott with second as Tom. And then Toni Collette, which we haven't even spoke about her, and then she does a fucking great job.
Yeah,
like she was in Hereditary. She's been in a lot of stuff. She was the mom. She's the mom from The Sixth Sense and stuff like that. Like she's like weirdly horror royalty in a way. Like she's just kind of been in and about it. But like those are the rest of them, like they're okay, you know, like they do their job. And then the kids, I could give a shit less. Like they either fucking annoy the hell out of me, they're either a whining bitching baby, or they're Max is like maybe the best of the kids. His sister is good too, but like at the end of the day, I do not give a shit about them. Like to me, they're just kind of cannon fodder.
They're cannon fodder. Did you hear that, Tasha? The children are cannon fodder.
Last I checked, last I checked, we're in America.
Okay.
That's how our politicians look at our children.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
We are not doing this today. My God, men's rights. Children are cannon fodder. No.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Yes, this is what people need to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, Tasha.
My favorite characters were Tom. I mean, I don't want to say exactly what Nick said, but it's kind of the truth. I really liked the parents, but I also not so much the uncle. I don't like him. I mean, he did his part. I get the role, but him as person.
Well, not
no.
as a person, just as a character.
No, I don't like that character. Definitely the parents, and then Max and Omi. So I can't necessarily narrow down one, but I really liked the grandma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like the hard ass of all the hard asses, realistically, in the movie. And okay, so who's your least favorite? Nick's is the cannon fodder kids. So what is your least favorite?
Mine are Jordan and Stevie, the two girls.
Okay.
Cousins. I cannot stand them.
Shitbags.
Yeah, but realistically though, that was the point of them. So like they did a really good job playing that. But yeah, they're just not.
I love the fact that Max in his letter talks about how Howard wanted boys and they're pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took me until this viewing to realize that they have general boy names too in a lot of cases, like an androgynous Jordan and Stevie can go either way.
And they're like wrestling in this movie, and I'm just like, these poor kids. Well, when I first saw it, I was like, maybe they are like gender neutral, like they're non-binary kids. Like originally when I saw this, I was like, maybe that's what they are, and they're just like trying to be inclusive. No, it's just their dad wanted a boy.
Yeah.
Wanted more boys.
Yes.
I love Howard though. Like there's that scene where they're going and getting guns out of the back of his Hummer, and he gives Tom the pistol. He's like, "Oh man, that's heavy." He's like, "Yeah, that's my wife's."
I love everything Adam Scott is in.
He's great.
That was one of the reasons, just like you, Nick, when Drew was telling me about it, he mentioned that Adam Scott was one of the main characters, and that's what sold me for watching it the first time.
He's the guy, he's the main dad, right?
Yep.
Is that who? Yeah. I'm not good with names most of the time. So, okay. Yeah, he's the one that played in Step Brothers as like the
Derek.
more successful brother. I loved him in that movie. So,
my name is Derek and I can sing high like this.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great actor. I mean, and then the guy who plays like I said, the uncle in this, he's really funny. His mouth is so unique, and like, when you watch him talk and stuff, he just has that like side.
It makes you wonder.
speaking.
It makes you wonder if like maybe he's hard of hearing in one ear, because that tends to happen with people that are like deaf in one ear. Their mouth will project out one side. Because they are compensating for what they're able to hear and not. Yeah. Because I've worked with a lady that's like that and everything. But yeah, he was in. He was in a lot of shit, but most notably that comes to mind is Anchorman. He's like the sports guy from Anchorman, like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
How about you, Steph? Who's your favorite and your least favorite?
Do bad guys get included, or are we just talking about the good guys?
Say whoever.
My favorite characters are the gingerbread man.
Hell yeah.
I'm not joking. Like, I want to get a little plushie of one of them because they're just so fucking cute.
There's a new tattoo for you. Get a gingerbread man holding the nail gun.
Yeah,
there you go.
That'll work. Yeah, I really liked their characters, even though they didn't have a large, part. But as of like humans or other, I'm basically like you guys. I think the men in this movie actually took the show.
Yeah.
I know that sounds terrible, but it's true. I really do. Because then the one argument I have with this movie realistically is like, obviously, other than the stupidity of going into a storm without much cover, like that is, we live in Ohio. They're supposed to be in Ohio. They are not stupid. They know what we get for snow. And you're telling me they don't have any of that stuff? That doesn't make any sense. So, so they're trekking out in, knee-high snow and basically any clothes in the craziest winter storm. Like, we don't do that here. So I didn't like that. But the thing I found really sad about this is like the mom with moms and Max are going out and they're trying to go get the the vehicle or whatever, the plow, and both the moms bite the dust like really quickly and like haphazardly. The guys go out a lot better, I think. Like they get a better ending. Grandma gets a better ending. Like even the baby gets a better ending. I mean, even the dumb girls who were boys or whatever that are really the most annoying characters in the whole show. Yeah. They get better endings. And then the moms are just like this haphazard cleanup because they just, I don't know. I felt like that was a big disservice to them in this movie. But I would the gingerbread men for number one. And then I would say the same thing you guys said. And I really like the dog in this because I love English bulldogs. I like bulldogs in general. And I just thought he was a great addition. I'm not going to say that the kids were cannon fodder, Nicholas.
But they weren't. Say they were.
But they really are the parts that are more used as bait. I feel like they're the bait, and the parents are here trying to save their lives, and that's what they're using them as. So, I would say my least. Oh, the aunt. She's also amazing in this. But I don't know who I would think is the worst character though.
It's the baby. We all know it's the baby.
It's not
Shut
though.
Shut that baby up.
I really thought that added a little bit to it. I want to say it was probably the boy overall that got taken up. That he doesn't really have any lines in the whole movie. Yeah, he gets taken up through the fireplace.
Every time that kid was on screen, I just wanted to punch him in the face. He's just got that like dopey fucking look on his face, like nothing going on in those eyes. Kind of reminds me of that fucking the fat kid from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory that gets.
Yeah, Augustus. Yeah, that's it.
He just got that fucking look, and I'm just like, God damn it.
Kind of reminds me of that boy from Matilda too.
Mm-hmm. The one that eats the cake.
Yeah, kind of.
And the fucking kid from Trick or Treat that's fucking knocking over all the.
Oh, almost
eats all the candy.
Almost identically. What? Yeah.
Fucking.
It's the same.
Yeah. Is it the same guy?
No, it's not the same kid.
Oh, it wouldn't be because age-wise. Yeah, no, because the movies were made too far apart. Yeah. But yeah, that he was probably the most boring character. He didn't add anything other than just literal like
annoyance
use of like he's the first like major visual kill. And like this, I was kind of sad we didn't get to see more of the sister because she was actually a pretty good character in the beginning, and then she just kind of gets, because the parents say, yeah, you can go out in a storm to go see your boyfriend who lives 4 blocks away. That's not a problem.
Never would happen.
Never. There's no way. Like that is the catalyst for this whole movie.
Yeah.
Other than the kid,
but it's not. Like it's the catalyst for them getting outside.
Yeah.
But all of that could have been just cut out, in my opinion.
Yep.
So
that's true.
They could have gone outside to see the snowmen.
Yeah.
Because we don't really see much about that. We just that there's these big ominous snowmen outside.
It's almost like the snowmen, though, are grave markers for all the people that Krampus has gotten.
That's what I assumed.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I drew from it too. And they kind of have similar, like a couple, like the one that looked like the boy that he'd taken out of it looked kind of like
really?
Him. Yeah. Yeah, that was about the only thing of it that. But the snowmen were kind of meh.
So what did you guys think though about? So we've got all that going on. Everyone's getting iced, and then Max is just kind of like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go talk to Krampus," and finds Krampus in his. It has like this like weird like dark carnival kind of feel to it. You got all the elves, and you got all these like fires and stuff like that. And Max is basically like, I want my family back kind of thing. Like, what did you think about that?
I liked it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get a better view of them.
Yeah, that's the first time you...
I don't really have a ton to say about it, but like, it was a cool scene how everyone was kind of all together in like this, like woodland, like creepy woodland type vibe. In the
because that's the first time you actually see Krampus's like full face when he like comes down to like Max's, like his head comes down towards Max's level a little bit, and that's where you actually see like that it's this like flesh mask and stuff. But so like that happened.
I never thought of it as flesh. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. For whatever reason, I think it's the style of them. My brain just makes it wood.
Could be.
They all have wooden masks.
It could be, but like there's just something about it that just reads like flesh to me. I don't know why. Like because all the wood stuff is like a muted kind of tone, and like for some reason his is like waxier looking. So that's what it makes me just think. I'm gonna have to look at it again or whatever. But I don't know if it's supposed to be somebody's fucking face, like if he's straight up Leatherface in it, or what. So
I don't know. I would like, this is one of those movies I would watch again, just at least a couple times just to see the Easter eggs, because I have a feeling this movie probably has a lot of them. I mean, Trick or Treat definitely does, so I would assume that this movie does as well. But yeah, the ending of it was definitely not what I expected. It was
the end
interesting.
The end is kind of ambiguous, and there's actually a couple different theories that have arisen, and Michael Dougherty has not confirmed either of them. So one of them is that the Engels and their family are trapped in a snow globe, condemned to repeat Christmas morning for eternity in a twisted version of hell. That's what some people believe. And then secondly, that they were given a second chance, and the snow globe is Krampus's means of watching over them, although writer-director like Michael Dougherty has not said either or. Like, these are just the two things that people have come to not come to terms, but these are the two endings that people have kind of come away from this film with. So which do you I know, like, I initially thought that the first one, like, that they're in like it's their own personal Groundhog Day hell. But then when I heard, like, you know, this is just his way of watching them, I was like, that actually probably makes a little more sense. But I don't know.
I feel like they're his trophies.
Okay.
And I feel like people who collect snow globes, of course, they use them to watch over stuff. But in snow globes, it is the repetitiveness of, like, the same scene, the same snow, the same whatever, all in this globe, obviously. So I feel like it's probably a little bit of both, because I don't look at it as a positive thing. I don't think Krampus is, especially in this world that we've created with the storyline, he's not coming out to be the nice guy. He's coming to, and the kid's like, no, I want my family back. Obviously, originally it was supposed to, at least they alluded to that, it was supposed to be the ending like Grandma had. So, like, where he was left behind to understand the consequences of his actions. And then he says, no, I don't want your bell. Go fuck off. I want my family back. So then he's asking for that. So he's giving him his gift. He's asking for it. He's fulfilling that, but in his own dark and twisty way. So he's keeping them as trophies that are still living and can do whatever they want, but they are reliving. Maybe they don't relive Christmas every day, but they're still stuck together forever in this world. So that's my opinion of it.
And that's how I saw it. Yeah, I've always thought of it as, like, exactly that. Like, be careful what you wish for, because you might not get exactly what you want. So I've thought of it as that first one. And that's why, like, you have this quick sentiment of Christmas morning and everything's great, and then it instantly flips to seeing his whole house full of all of these snow globes. So I think kind of like it was written in such, like, okay, you gave up Christmas spirit, here's your chance to regain it, you don't want that, now this is your demise, essentially. I didn't necessarily think that they would relive Christmas morning, I guess, but like, they're now in this weird alternate, like, Stepford Wives type universe where everything is like rosy colored glasses, but that's not reality.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And they don't give you enough time at the end of the movie to kind of build an understanding. It's kind of like snap, snap, and then that's it. So you have to draw whatever you can from that very small amount of information that you're given.
I like the way they do it, though, because initially you're like, oh, Krampus just let everything, everything's fine. And it's like, nobody remembers except for Max. And then, like, everybody kind of starts getting their memories back a little bit. And then the camera pans out and they pull out of the fucking snow globe in Krampus's, like, house or whatever. And I like that because it's like, oh, it's a happy ending. And then it's literally just like, not a happy ending.
For a second, I had, like, the Polar Express vibes where he got the bell. It was like, if you believe. It was like, just as a reminder. I couldn't help but draw from that movie.
So are you saying that Tom Hanks is Krampus?
Possibly. I mean, there could be a tie-in. Yeah. They both had bells.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
creepy in both of the movies.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Yeah, I like I said, I liked it. It was good. So
let's bust out these personal reviews.
this is hard.
I'll just get mine out of the way. I think I like this one a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know what I rated Trick or Treat, so like who fucking knows? I might be lying. But I think I like this one more than Trick or Treat for the pure like the comedy cuts better. I like Trick or Treat. I'm not going to talk about Trick or Treat the whole time, but Trick or Treat's an anthology. This isn't. This is more focused on one story. But like I will, they both are like yearly watches. Like I'm going to probably watch this every Christmas season, just, you know, for something added to the list. I really like the Krampus look and everything. The film itself, though, like they're like the kids are annoying. You guys love the grandma. I've got my own little hang-ups about her and stuff like that. But all that being said, it's runtime. I think it's like an hour and like it's under 2 hours. I know that.
It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's not very long.
It runs pretty quick and everything. You get some cool spooks. You get some laughs and all that. And for that, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, Tasha, what do you got?
Well, I think a lot of the movie could have not been in the movie. I think it had a lot of kind of lulling, boring bits. Told you what I felt about the cast. I think the cast is really what keeps me in this movie. The cast and the visual aspect of the demon like toys and Krampus. I'll cut to the chase. I'm giving it a 5.
Okay. So you like it better than Trick or Treat?
Yes, I like it better than Trick or Treat. I think I will continue to watch this one, but this is another movie where I don't need to give it my full attention to enjoy it. Sure. I think it'll be more of a tradition type thing. The story, and this is strange for me because usually this kind of stuff doesn't bother me, but for this movie it does, which is funny because it's a horror comedy, so it shouldn't. But just the storyline was lacking in some areas, and it didn't make a lot of sense in some spots. So yeah, a 5 it is.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go. This was hard for me because like when I was watching it, because this was my first time, I want to watch it again, and I think I'll get a better, more like definitive rating of what I would feel on this movie, because it kind of, there's certain spots like Tasha said where it like really lulls. Like some of the outdoor scenes are just like snooze fests, and then you pick up and then you're like barreling 1,000 miles an hour, especially in the upstairs scene and the kitchen scene and some other scenes. So it's definitely has that like strange, slow and fast, which I think works okay for the movie. I agree also that there is a lot of rules that don't make any fucking sense at all in this movie. But I like the visuals of it. I thought it was really a pretty movie. I thought it was well made, despite the fact that it has some very weird gaps and stuff in it. But I definitely like Trick or Treat better by a lot. That's no shocker here. That movie, in my opinion, Trick or Treat was brilliantly written. This was not brilliantly written. This was just fun. So I'm gonna stick with kind of what Nick's saying. I was teetering between like a 6.5 and a 7 because I do think I'll rewatch this. But I have to definitely see it a second time in order to give a better answer. So I'm gonna go with a 6.75 and just hit it in the middle of those.
63%.
Oh.
60?
Man, we're hanging out in that 60, 65 range pretty hard.
We are.
Yeah, it's favorable.
Yeah.
You know, like this is not going to be I'd be shocked if this was someone's favorite film, but the reason this film will get rewatched and stuff is because outside of, you know, the movies that I mentioned earlier, like Silent Night, Deadly Night and stuff like that, this is a fun Christmas horror film where those are like dark, kind of mean, like, right, you know, like straight up like slasher kinds, and this one's still got like whimsy. It's still got some it's there for the lulls, as it were, and stuff. Like it definitely fits a specific feel, so it's definitely in that pocket where not a lot of films are.
The other Christmas horror movies I have absolutely no desire to see.
Yeah,
but this one, because it has that mythical creature aspect to it,
yeah. Well,
I would.
I think this movie is really good for people who want something that's kind of scary, but also with a little bit of that funny element that doesn't care for Christmas movies necessarily, like the whimsical piece of it and the holly jolly, lovely, whatever. I love all that stuff, but I can see where somebody who's just kind of like, meh, they're kind of the Grinch of the world. This would be really good for somebody of that nature. I did recently post like a giveaway for work, and I asked people what their favorite Christmas movie was, and a couple people said this movie. So I mean, it is known, and there are some people who really like it. So I don't love it, but I do think I think it's rewatchable. So
well, I'm probably there's a newer Christmas horror film that just came out. It's on Shudder, and I'm definitely going to be watching it soon. And I suggest this might be up your alley too, Tasha, and Steph. You'll probably end up watching it with me when I watch it. It's called It's a Wonderful Knife. It's on Shudder. It's got Justin Long in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and
okay.
Basically, it's a holiday slasher, but like just in the previews and stuff, Justin Long is the slasher in it, and it's like pretty interesting. It just came out. It just hit Shudder recently, so the two Christmassy films that I haven't seen for the holiday season that I want to is I'm going to watch It's a Wonderful Knife, and then also I didn't get to watch it last year, and I'm going to watch Violent Night soon, which is basically Die Hard with Santa, and the guy that played Hopper in Stranger Things and did the new Hellboy and stuff. He's the one that plays Santa in it. So it's basically like a siege film, and I don't know if he's supposed to be Santa, really Santa, or if he's just like a mall Santa, but it's basically like a family's house is under siege and he's here to fuck people up. So I'm about that too.
I'll probably watch that.
Did that come out last year?
I think so. I didn't.
It sounds
By the
familiar.
time I was able to watch it, Christmas was already over. I was like, I'll just watch it next season. It's fine. And I think it's on Netflix or on Peacock. So I might watch that tonight, actually, when we're done with this.
Yeah, that sounds like I want to see Die Hard again. That's what we were trying to find last night too. That's not a horror movie, obviously, but they don't have that streaming anymore.
Yeah, I've got it down here on DVD. I don't think I've got it on Blu-ray, but we've got all the Die Hards except the last one because we don't speak about the last one. But so Movie Club this time, Movie Club is on sabbatical for next week. We are doing our year-end extravaganza. We'll basically be talking about movies, television series, books, albums, things of that nature that we really enjoyed. These are not things that are like life experiences. These are things that we can talk about that maybe you can also enjoy, broaden your palette. We will be introduced to new things as well from each other and stuff. I know like I'm more music and movie centric. You girls are more TV series centric, book centric, stuff like that. So there will definitely be some interesting cross suggestions and stuff. It'll be interesting to see if any of us bring up similar things and whatnot.
I'm going to guess probably not.
I don't know. You never know. I think you guys all really liked Homicidal Ecstasy by Sanguis Sugabog, that sweet death metal album. That was badass.
No, I can't say that I did. Sorry.
All right. No, I guess not. But for Pot of the Dead, I am Nicholas.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Natasha.
And come back and listen to us. Or else.